On Your Bike, in association with Safer Roads Humber, taking cycle safety seriously.
This time, my cycling journey across East Yorkshire and northern Lincolnshire takes me to the South Bank, where I will be exploring Barton and Scunthorpe. Barton upon Humber lies on the south bank of the Humber estuary at the southern end of the Humber Bridge. Recently named as one of Britain's property hotspots, it's been shown that house prices in this lovely market town rose almost 12% last year, with a staggering 76% increase in houses sold. The reduction in the bridge tolls and the government's Help to Buy scheme have influenced the rise, I'm sure, but the links to Hull, Scunthorpe and Lincoln help make it a popular place to live. And it's home to some famous names too. Crime author Ted Lewis, whose best-known work was adapted as the film Get Carter, Sir Isaac Pitman, who developed the Pitman shorthand method, and the Great British Bake Off's Nancy Birtwistle all hail from the town. So, it's a good place to roam on my trusty bike, but what does the town have to offer those visiting? The Rope Walk is a regionally acclaimed art centre which houses galleries, a sculpture garden and a coffee shop serving delicious cake and coffee. It's also home to the Ropery Hall, a venue for live music, theatre and cinema. The Rope Walk is within a Grade 2 listed former rope factory, so it certainly has a fascinating history.
Hello, Luke.
Hi, Liz.
Nice
Lovely
to meet you.
Just admiring all the gorgeous artwork here in the gallery.
Yes, we've got a fantastic exhibition on at the moment from a Scunthorpe artist, Letitia Thompson. It's been on for a couple of weeks now and we've sold quite a lot of it. It's going well.
So the artwork, what we're seeing here today, that's obviously available for your customers to purchase?
It is, yes. Everything is available for sale, and when people buy them, they can pick them up at the end of the exhibition. The artist, then we take a small commission from the artist, and that's one of the revenue streams that keeps the gallery going.
We are in a former rope factory.
That's
Not necessarily
right.
the gallery itself, but the whole building in general.
It is, yeah.
Is part of a former rope factory.
Yeah.
What do we know about its history, Liz?
Well, we know that the land was bought in 1801 by a shipping company in Hull, Halls, and they purchased it so that they could make ropes on site rather than buying them from a third party. You know, typical Yorkshiremen, they want to cut down, they pay the middlemen, absolutely, yeah. So I'm allowed to say that because I'm from Yorkshire. But they wanted to cut down their costs, so they built their own rope making factory. And the actual building itself is just short of a quarter of a mile long.
Because it is quite
but it's only 30 foot wide,
right.
so you know there wasn't, when the factory shut in 1989, ideas came forward for what they could do with the building, but nothing really sparked any interest. So it's Grade 2 listed as well. There's a lot of things you can't do with it.
Right.
And when we took it on, it kind of it worked, it gelled.
And that brings me on to my next question. What was the concept behind the Rope Walk as we know it today, as an arts venue and a cultural hub in Barton?
Yeah, well, when we took it on, we've been doing community arts work in the town for quite a long time, so using disused shops, empty units, to put exhibitions on or performance pieces, and this became available, and it was kind of a joke. There was 3 of us came to look at it, myself and my partner who's a painter and he was looking for a studio, and a good friend Tim, who is our print technician here and on the board of directors, and Tim is also an artist. So we were looking for a space, and this was a bit ridiculous really because it was so big, and it was just derelict, quarter of a mile long building, and within a year we opened the first fifth of it as an art centre. And at the time, there wasn't a huge number of people living locally that were involved in the arts, but it's kind of attracted. It's a bit of a build it and they will come.
And
sort
testament
of.
to your hard work.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're open 7 days a week. We started with 3 of us, and we've got 34 staff now. And as I said, we have good visitors numbers, and it's just become a bit of a cultural hub. We won Cake of the Year last year in North Lincolnshire, wow. the Great North Lincolnshire Bake Off. Our carrot cake came first.
Oh, my favourite, Liz. So,
yeah,
favourite.
I guarantee, need to try that, and obviously it's got carrot in it, so it's one of your 5 a day, really.
It's authentic.
Yeah.
And finally, tell me one fantastic thing about Barton on Humber.
Well, it's one of those places that it's small enough that you know a lot of people, but we've still got, a leisure centre, a library, we've got 3 fantastic independent museums, and it's just got a really good sense of community, and there's nowhere I think you can go that has as many clubs and societies.
Set in 110 acres of picturesque woodland, wetland and wildflower meadows, the Water's Edge Visitor Centre is another key attraction that cyclists can enjoy here in Barton. Opened in 2006, the award-winning centre is one of the greenest attractions in the UK and is home to an abundance of wildlife. Mallards and kingfishers can be seen nesting on the salt marsh plants all year round.
At the moment, the visitor centre is attracting around 170,000 visitors a year.
A year?
A year.
Fantastic.
So very good numbers. And as it's a free attraction, they can come, they can spend time here, they can park for free, they can come in for free, they can wander around the country park. They may choose to feed the ducks, they may choose to eat in the cafe, but they could bring their picnics. It's a very good day out for very little expenditure. The children have a great time. And mums and dads can have a nice relaxing time. There's 86 acres of country park on this side, and there's a few more on the other side of the haven, so altogether there's just over 100 acres, and there are waymarked paths and lakes and trees and meadows, just to wander around and relax and have a good time.
A leisurely stroll.
Yes.
A leisurely stroll. And I believe, Margaret, the site is an area of special scientific interest, is that correct?
We have 2 sites of special scientific interest here at the minute. Water's Edge at one point was one of the 5 worst contaminated sites in Europe.
Right.
Heavily contaminated with heavy metals and other very dangerous chemicals. That was all taken away, and the lakes and things were created. And sites of special scientific interest are where something out of the ordinary happens. So it could be plants that have made this their home that are unusual, or it could be a particular animal or bird or whatever. Ours are plants, but we have 2, which it's amazing when you think what we came from only 10, 12 years ago to what it is now.
You have a team of dedicated staff
Yes.
within the centre, but I believe that you also pledge for volunteers to come and commit their time.
Yes.
And develop the centre and make sure it's running smoothly. How can people get involved as a volunteer here?
The volunteers mostly work outside in the country park.
Right.
And they work with the ranger, and they help out from anything like putting out fat balls and food for the birds, to maybe tidying up and making sure that the paths are accessible, and that any trees that need looking after are properly cared for, to maybe they'll be collecting the litter out of the bins, but making sure that outside is in a suitable and safe state for the public to come and see. So all the volunteering happens outside. We've got some nice cycle packs that you can pick up from here as well, that give you places to go, and what you can see on the way. So you may go out towards Thornton Abbey and do the cycle trip around there, and you've got a beautiful abbey to see, or you could go out onto the Isle of Axholme and visit Epworth, the home of the Wesleys, or you could come to Barton and do the cycle trail in this area and go to Wilderspin, the National School, or you could come here. There's so much to do.
We're surrounded by history in this area.
Yes.
Before I leave Barton, I'm going to pay a trip to Welltite. They have over 75 years experience manufacturing a range of bicycle maintenance products. Producing everything from specialist lubricants and cleaners to workshop and consumer tools, Welltite has a purpose-built manufacturing factory in Barton. The team here are also proud of their links with the country's leading bike racing and display teams, who use the company's products to ensure they're firmly out in front. 75 years of operation, what a fantastic achievement.
Well, thank you very much.
Tell me about the history of the company.
Well, it started, my grandfather had a business in London where you could probably work backwards. 75 years ago was at the start pretty much of the Second World War. And we were Ministry of Defence packers. So we were filling a lot of greases, oils, etc., and sending them out in crates. And it was about a year later they came to us saying we've got a need for a puncture repair kit for the Jeeps. So that's really where the link started. And we were manufacturing these repair kits quite a bit after the war, and I guess it was probably in the 50s, 60s where we came out with a puncture repair kit for bicycles. And the theme which we like to say is it's all about maintenance. So everything that you need to do to maintain a bicycle, we pretty much do now. And we split that up into 4 areas. There's puncture repair or puncture prevention. There's lubricants, there's cleaning products, and the 4th one is tools. We obviously have our own brand, Well-Tight, but we do manufacture a lot of other brands. Right. So I would pretty safely say that every single cyclist is probably using products which would come from this factory.
David, thank you very much for inviting me here today.
It's been a
I've
pleasure.
got a long ride ahead to Scunthorpe very shortly.
Right, well look, you mustn't leave without me giving you the perfect product to ensure you get a
Sounds
great journey.
intriguing.
Well, let me go and get one. This is our JetVan Smart system. It's fabulous, absolutely fabulous. It's got everything here you need to mend your puncture. It's got the self-seal patches, which no glue's required. Instantly put it on, completely airtight. We've got the nylon tire levers, glass filled to make sure it's very strong indeed. And we've also got the jet valve. It can be used to top up your air, or if you've got a complete flat, to fill it up from no pressure right up to the pressure required.
Am I okay to take this on my journey to Scunthorpe? Pop it in my kit bag?
You certainly are.
Just in case.
You certainly are, but I do hope you don't have a puncture.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Luke.
Well, I'm going to make my way to Scunthorpe now, so please join me in part 2, where I'll be learning about a local celebrity, ringing the bells and enjoying a ride with a cycling club.
But you know me.
On your bike in association with Safer Roads Humber, taking road safety seriously.
On your bike, in association with Safer Roads Humber, taking road safety seriously.
Scunthorpe, an industrial garden town and the UK's largest steel processing centre. It lies on a rich bed of iron ore and limestone, crucial in the manufacturing of steel. Scunthorpe is the result of 5 villages merging: Scunthorpe, Frodingham, Crosby, Ashby and Brumby, which still remain districts of the borough of Scunthorpe today. Now, the town appears in the 1086 Domesday Book as Escomtorp, Old Norse for Skimmer's homestead. It's believed the site is in the town centre, close to where the present-day Market Hill is located. The steel industry is a major employer in the area, and the largest operator is Tata Steel. Steel made in Scunthorpe has been used in a wide range of applications, including the construction of the Petronas Towers in Malaysia and the Singma Bridge in Hong Kong. But it's art we're talking about now. 2021 is Scunthorpe's premier venue for the contemporary visual arts. It's situated in the former St John's Church in the town centre right next door to the new University Technical College. St John's Church held its final service in April 1984, remaining derelict until 2000, when it was converted into an art centre with 6 gallery spaces showcasing spectacular work by contemporary artists and makers. But why is the centre called 2021? Simple. The conversion started in the 20th century and was completed in the 21st century. Dominic, 2021, I believe it's on the site of a former church. Tell me about its history.
Yes, that's right. It's built in the former St John's Church that was built at the end of the 19th century in Scunthorpe when the population exploded because of the steel industry. And the church fell into disrepair during the 1970s and was bought by the council, and there was a lot of discussions on what to do with it, and it ended up being turned into this beautiful art gallery.
Beautiful art gallery. So why was it set up then, 2021, as an art gallery and cultural venue?
I think it was just a case of there not being a lot of galleries or art in the area at the time. If you look at this region, I mean, obviously there's great galleries in Harland, Sheffield and Lincoln, but actually in the south bank of the Humber there wasn't really a lot going on, so I think there was a feeling that there should be an arts centre in Scunthorpe. We've got 5 exhibition spaces here, so we've always got something for all tastes. We show contemporary art and crafts and design. from cutting edge stuff to stuff that's I guess that the general population might enjoy a bit more. I mean, at the moment we've got a wonderful exhibition by Anthony Gormley, Feel for the British Isles, which is one of the great works of 20th century sculpture. We're really privileged to have it here, and our programme's gradually building, so hopefully we're going to have more of the same over the coming months and years.
Fantastic, because Anthony Gormley is a very well-known name within the cultural arts world, isn't he?
Yeah.
Do you attract them kind of big names here at the centre?
We've got a growing reputation, so we've been working with big collections. This piece actually comes on loan from the collection of the Arts Council down in London, so we've been working more with bigger galleries in other cities to bring great artists, but we also work with new artists that no one's ever heard of, and offer them their first show, and often they'll go on to big things after that. We're fantastically well supported here. We have thousands of visitors every month, so there's definitely a need for great art and for people to come here. I mean, just about everyone's creative. I mean, they might not be interested in art. They might be interested in tattoos or the way they dress and things like that. We try and represent here as well. I mean, in the past we had a really big tattoo exhibition of tattoo art. We've had kind of cutting edge design work. We've shown kind of comic art. We had a big Judge Dredd show. So we try and encompass, I guess, the whole range of creativity in the community, and I think it shows through the enjoyment we have through our visitors.
I'm at the top of the bell tower here at the 2021 Visual Arts Centre, where I'm going to now partake in a spot of bell ringing with one of the local groups. Scunthorpe is home to its very own cycling celebrity, Albert Lal White. He worked at Lysart Steelworks by day and trained as a cyclist by night, winning a silver medal in the 1920 Olympic Games in Antwerp. He also rode in the 1924 Paris Olympics. A true hero, Lal died in 1965 at the age of 75, but his legacy and achievements live on. Lysart Steelworks and Lal White are no longer with us, but this fabulous portrait bench celebrates some of the famous names of Scunthorpe and recognises Lal's achievements, along with that of Jack Tighe, another famous cyclist from the region. In 2012, Susan Hollingworth told the story of Lal in Cycle Song. Albert Lal White,
Yes.
a cycling celebrity right here in Scunthorpe.
Absolutely, one of the best cyclists in the country.
Of course. What's his story?
He was actually born in Brigg in, I think, 1890, and he came to Scunthorpe when he was 5. Lal went to work on the steelworks, and of course he cycled to work. And he must have found that he was a quicker cyclist than anybody else because he started to race. His first race was at 14.
What was your inspiration behind Cycle Song?
Well, in 2000, I'd taken a children's choir to the Cultural Olympiad in Sydney. So I
Fantastic.
knew in 2012 there would be a Cultural Olympiad in the country, and I thought, let's bid for some money and let's do something here in Scunthorpe. And I wanted to do a big choral event. So I went to see our local council and I talked about it to the arts officers, and they originally wanted to do something around dance. But I said I wanted to do something around singing. So they said, yes, we could do something around singing, but please would you do it about Lal White? Well, I'd never even heard of Lal White at the time.
So you didn't have a particular interest in him before
no.
then,
I mean,
Sue?
I do cycle, but I didn't know anything about him. So I went
Right.
home, I looked him up, and I went to the museum, started to find things, and I became really very interested in him. There's another interesting story about Lal White, and that's about the static bike. Did you know that?
Please tell me. I'm intrigued to know.
Do you ever train on a static bike? No. Well, it's got two rollers at the front and one at the back with a belt.
Right.
And you just cycle, it keeps going for you. And it was Lal and his brother invented that.
Oh, wow.
There was a shop in Scunthorpe that sold mangles. And he'd passed this shop every day and he thought, if only I could train in my shed, I'd be better. So, because on rainy days, you know, he didn't want to go out, I suppose. So they bought 3 mangles. They put 2 at the front, 1 at the back, so there were the rollers and the mangles, and they connected them. And these were clever chaps. They connected them with a belt, and Lal used to train on his static bike, and then he started to take it to race meetings, and people can remember this contraption turning up, and he used to show people what he was training on, and of course that became, someone must have bought the patent from him or something.
So he helped develop
the
bike as we know it today.
The bike as we know it today, because people were training on these static rollers and these static bikes.
So obviously cycling was probably in Lal's blood, by the sounds of it.
I think so.
I'm finishing my very enjoyable ride around Scunthorpe by meeting up with a cycle group. Founded in 1946, Scunthorpe Polycycling Club runs a track league at Quibble Park during the racing season. The club specialises in hard track and grass track racing, as well as enjoying considerable success in all areas of cycle racing. They have a strong team, but new members are always welcome.
The club started in the 1940s, so we've been going a long time now. Well, before I was born. So, yeah. So it's traditionally we've had track riders in the club over the years. So, and our club sponsor Jack Tye was one of those riders in the early 40s, an international track rider.
So did he help found?
Well, the club was actually started by a chap called Reginald Pullin years ago, and we've got Reg to thank actually for this cycle track, because he was on the council and he lobbied and got everything. So this was how the cycle track first got started in the 60s.
Steve, what's your role within the club?
Well, I'm the club secretary, but I started in the club as a youngster, as at age 11, and I came down here and saw some cycle racing on this track and got hooked on it straight away, and came down, got involved with the local club and got involved, and it just progressed, and I went on to have a sort of racing career and did reasonably well, won a few races, and then as I've got older, I've sort of got into the organising side of it and things like that.
And it's good that you're still involved, because you've got that history and link to the past, and obviously
That's
you've seen the club over the years develop with members, coming and going.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen a lot of riders come through. I mean, one of our notable riders was Ben Swift, who went on to ride the Tour de France, now an international and world champion. So, we're really proud of the velodrome, that we've had a lot of youngsters come through this velodrome who are now Olympic champions.
As always, if you've been inspired to get on your bike but want some tips and advice for riding in the countryside, download the free mobile app Cycle Yorkshire, Ride the Routes. You can also visit our website estuary.tv/on-your-bike for more details. I'm heading off to Grimsby and Cleethorpes next time for a spot of light refreshment in England's smallest pub, sailing, windmill style, and a visit to a community cycle hub in Grimsby. From Scunthorpe, safe cycling.
I'm looking at the car and the cyclist on my right, covering my brakes.
On Your Bike, in association with Safer Roads Humber, taking cycle safety seriously.